Mount Shumi, more commonly translated as Mount Meru, is the Buddhist navel of the world and a bridge between the material and transcendental, headed by a natural shrine. It is the center of Buddhist cosmology. The mountain is symbolic for Buddhist self-actualization. It's a steep climb, and it's inconsistently detailed for its challenges and relations to Buddhist figures. In this show, even the mountain itself is grasping upwards, as all characters around it seem to.
Wait here, son. It'll soon be over.
This is a relatively typical revenge story opening. The camera focuses on the samurai's non-existent gun holster, using the visual language of both Old West and samurai movies. And weapons of choice, apparently. Despite this clash of aesthetics, the fight makes a lot of sense. Justice, the mutant cowboy, gets his shooting space encroached on by the samurai father, and his guns become more a burden. But he seems to have something up his sleeve.
Come on, man. Give me what you got.
This leads to him beheading Afro's father, somehow. A mystery to hook us into the show. After recklessly stealing the father's headband and tossing the remnants to the child, Justice is effectively number one under the sun, as the cloth reads. Our protagonist Afro watches his father's head gasp its last breaths, while he gets coaxed by a man obsessed with his supposedly newfound godhood. Justice himself commentates that in this moment Afro's path of revenge is set for him. Our protagonist becomes oppositionally associated with the moon, the proverbial yang to Justice's yin, and it further illustrates our hero's lingering dark mood. And in the next scene that he no longer exists on a plateau of Mount Shumi. He has fallen from his innocence. There's another really cool action scene after this of Afro ambushed. It's claimed they spent $1 million an episode, and it really shows. He confidently takes his sword into one hand and expresses his basketballer-like hood samurai style. This is mostly to prove Afro has the skill and ability to take revenge. Some crusty foot dude spying on this battle is either checking out that number 2 adorned headband, or that full-on fro that I'm sure would make Daddy proud. Most importantly in these fight scenes is how Afro emotionlessly cuts down his enemies. It's nothing personal, just revenge. The technology of Afro Samurai's world is more advanced than its kind of ghetto Sakoku setting. This is self-described as neo-feudalism, though there's no wars that we're aware of, and many of the traditional hut buildings have graffiti on them. It's a beautifully ragged aesthetic. Cornholio runs into a bar and tells everyone Afro's in town. All these Death Note victim-looking dudes get uppity like it's their shot at the big time, while one foreign patron asks what the hubbub's about. The world's hottest bartender explains the headband system in its deceptive simplicity. The number 1 headband, taken by Justice, is supposedly a god. They have a habit of living on Mount Shumi like Daddy Fro, so that's a reasonable boast. Only he who adorns the number 2 headband can challenge number 1, and anyone can challenge the number 2. You'd expect an honor system like this to have no weight in this setting, but it's somehow maintained, perhaps through common belief. Shit goes south in the bar, everyone's grasping at each other's neck, arguing over who gets to kill Afro. Then public enemy number 2 casually walks through, cutting the tension of the scene and ordering lemonade.
Lemonade.
Giving Afro something as mundane as a penchant for lemonade humanizes him very early, a great choice. If he'd remained 100% raw killing potential, it'd be hard to care about it. Now, there is an argument that Afro Samurai is American-licensed Japanese blaxploitation. While I consider that a fact, it's real good. The bartenderess tells Afro the best way up the back of Mount Shumi, and warns him of the journey's perils. Afro is followed by the plot exposition foreigner. Stopping in his tracks, the sound design reveals Froman's got Japanese getter made by Air Jordan. Ninja tries to warn Afro not to do this, but our boy is steadfast and accepts any challenge, as is the curse of his second place title.
Shut up. Well, fine. Go get your lank ass killed in. But don't say I ain't warn ya. Later.
Our challenger introduces himself as Soshin, a weapons master. He's got arrows and grenades and shit, to quote Ninja. The reality of this story is gritty, so a genuine comic relief character is a good prescription, though it can come off as a bit schizophrenic. Regardless, Samuel L. Jackson has the time of his life in this role, ad-libbing much of it. Ninja is hilariously pessimistic, and adding black slang to that archetype takes him from annoying to the highlight of the show.
Oh, is he dead? Don't tell me you're dead. Is he dead? I asked you a question.
Another amazing action scene, top quality choreography and animation. But instead of aiming where he was, Soshin should have been aiming where he was going to be. Because Afro's aim is only to move forward. These 2 post-mortem quotes are to show that Afro is internally void of all but his goal, ready to climb Mount Shumi. So he claims anyway. Barefoot Man is now with a protector decked out, and he calls some old dirty pastor, introducing the Empty Seven clan, a squad of, 6 brothers who constructed various technologically enshrined pathways up Mount Shumi. I don't know what they're chanting, but they're surrounded by the Buddhist Heart Sutra. Form is indeed emptiness. Emptiness is indeed form. It's one of the most central doctrines of Buddhism that summarizes non-attachment, though Brother 1 talks like a gospel preacher, even making out-of-turn biblical references. Some glancing blows by poison arrows causes Afro to falter, which is seriously wastefully well animated. Brother 6 takes the opportunity to pull a motherfucking RPG out his motherfucking backpack and aim it square at our bushy-busted Bushido brother.
Oh my god! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!
Even though that's one of the coolest things you might ever see animated, it doesn't really save him. He falls further than he ever has before, figuratively introducing our flashback episode.